will be brutally honest. Ain't nothing but being brutally honest. Coming at you with another video. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Atlanta Falcons content creator, Smitty, Sports Machine, man. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, bro, man? I love that intro, man. It had me vibing for a minute. Everything good, though.
Absolutely, bro. If I'm looking for guys with Falcons legitimate sources, man, this is the guy, man. Like anything with Falcons news or anything with other teams in general, this guy knows his stuff, man. Like anybody go check out this dude's channel. But let's talk about what's been going on in the ATL, man, the Falcons, bro. What's been going on throughout the season and going into free agency, man?
Hey, man, I love what they done this offseason, man, with free agency, man. I think a lot of moves have been made, and I think they've improved this team dramatically, man. As I look at both sides of the ball, there still holds true enough. But at the end of the day, I think they'll get done through the draft and after the draft with undrafted free agents. And a lot of people forget June 1st cuts. Cap casualties are still, on the ride, on the horizon. So we got a long way to go, man. But I'm still pumped. 1 week from the draft. Shout out to my followers for following me, man. Let me give them draft content. It's my favorite time of the year. And hey, that's all I got to say right now.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Like, especially, no offense to the Super Bowl or any other event, man. I just think the draft is the best, man, because when it comes down to the offseason, dude, I put a lot of my content on the draft where I interview these prospects. I get to know about them before they even get drafted. So you do a lot of these due diligence with these guys. You ask them some interesting questions. They're just human beings just like everybody else. But once you see what they're all about, man, you'd be amazed how good these players can be, man. Like
right.
Last year I did a lot of my homework on Spencer Burford, and he was on my show. Turned out to be the 4th round draft pick by the Niners and became the starter from day one. And my prediction was just spot on when I said he was going to be the starter at right guard, even though he was listed as a tackle coming out of college. But I don't know why I felt that he was going to be that guy.
Hey, man, sometimes when you know, man. I've had feelings like that over the last couple of years. I felt like Kyle Pitts was our pick back 2 years ago because we needed an offensive weapon. He was that guy. Now, last year kind of shocked me a little bit, but because I had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson ahead of Drake London. But I understood because he's a big receiver, big body, and that's what Arthur Smith likes.
Yeah, you need that big body receiver. That's why when you had Kyle Pitts, he was just like a big receiver, more of a tight end at that position. But when you got Drake London, I thought that was an interesting pick.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to have those, man, because sometimes we don't, like the fits, but at the end of the day, as coach, we see what the coach likes to do. We understand it. And this year, I think it's going to be more the same at number 8.
Yeah, find a lot of ways to involve the guy as your passing game. I mean, Atlanta, they have a lot of way to move on up, because they have a lot of talent. They got a little extra cap space, man. I thought you guys were going to get Lamar Jackson or somebody, bro. I thought you guys were going to go for that guy because it kind of gives me that Michael Vick vibe.
Yeah, I wanted Lamar Jackson, but, that's faded away. To see what they've done, after moving on from that, I'm starting to agree with it more, and I'm, starting to deal with it. Because if you're going to go ahead with a second-year quarterback, best thing to do is put weapons around him. So they've done that, and they're going to continue to do that, and they put an offensive line in front of him that can keep him upright to make plays. So I think it was the right move at the end of the day.
Yeah, you got to give him got to give him some weapons to succeed. A lot of weapons will make this quarterback better. Sometimes a second year can be a breakout player. But to answer Tony Wright's question, yes, I know who Rombo is, man. This guy's got a huge successful channel. I haven't been on this channel for quite a minute, but whatever that guy does, man, he puts on some good energy. I ain't gonna lie. But,
yeah. I watch his channel too. Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude, man.
Pretty chill dude. On Twitter, I'll get some interaction with him every now and then, but it's like whenever I put in some comments or something on Twitter, this guy would probably be one of the very few guys who'll just go on my tweets. Who'll either just respond to it or agree or disagree with me. But we always find better ways to have a healthy debate. Some people don't like everybody's opinion, but I try to keep it to myself.
Yeah, it is what it is, bro. Like I tell you all the time, if you don't have haters, you're not growing the right way.
Yeah, especially, sometimes you'll get those haters every now and then. But when you're doing something right, man, you're doing something right. But when you look at, like, going into free agency, man, I seen you put your reports about Isaiah Oliver being a really interesting pickup by the Niners. And by looking at your overall review, I just wanted to hear the rest of what you were saying from there on out. Because, I really thought this was an interesting signing, and you were spot on what you said on the videos.
Yeah, well, Isaiah Oliver, man, it took me time to grow him as well because he started off as an outside corner but transitioned to slot. I knew coming out of Colorado, man, he had the speed, the size, the athleticism, but one thing I learned as time went on, he played better in the slot with his length, playing against slot receivers. He played some safety. So if you keep everything in front of Isaiah Oliver, he'll be fine, man. So as I look at it, it's a great pickup by the 49ers who lost a lot in the secondary. So you bring him in as a slot corner or a nickel corner or a safety. I think he'll fit perfectly, man. And with that defensive line that they have, that will probably raise his stock just a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. I could see why, because the lengthy size for a slot corner, usually they're supposed to be undersized, but I checked out a lot of his film and a lot of stuff, and a lot of Atlanta Falcons kind of seem very high on him. I didn't see no negativity on this guy. So I'm like thinking he must be a really good pickup if we're really – and we didn't have to sign him to a big, huge contract.
Right. And I was kind of hoping Atlanta re-signed him, but I guess it was time to move on. I guess he wanted a fresh start, and I get that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know you wanted to probably ask this question before, but you've been hearing about these rumors about Trey Lance and a lot of that stuff. I know that's something you probably want to hear about.
Yeah, man, but I just dropped the short actually before we came on the air about a perfect fit for him. And if I'm looking at a trade and I can get away with a second and a fourth, Houston, Texas, man, very intriguing team. They have a second round pick, which is very high. So I think they can add a fifth and they could get him. If I look at what they can do at number 2, they can take one of the best defensive players in the draft. And at number 12, they can trade back that pick, get more picks, and get that second round pick back. Or they can, add an offensive weapon such as a receiver, because I looked at what they did earlier this offseason with Dalton Schultz, Robert Woods, and weapons such as that. You add a Trey Lance to what they were already building with a young running back in Damon Pierce, who's one of the best young running backs last year. I think Houston, Texas make all the sense in the world, especially with a young team like they have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I can see why these type of trades are kind of going on, but I just don't see it like – I don't understand how Ian Rappaport just going there, But I seen last year where they were reporting that Debo was supposed to be gone by draft day. They said we should hear him gone by draft day, and I didn't see it happening. So maybe it's a lot of smoke screens. Yeah, you're going to get some phone calls. You're going to get some interest from teams. You'll probably want to listen because maybe there's some offers you'll probably – refuse to pass on. So I don't know, like, it's never say never in the situation, but I feel like the Niners wouldn't do this. Like, why would you want to put some info like that? This regime keeps it low key. Like under the previous years under them, we didn't review our quarterback in the draft. We kept it quiet. They thought it was Mac Jones, and we trolled the entire league. We trolled them. They're still bitter by that. Mike Florio's bitter by that. Chris Sims is bitter by that. And Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter thought the same way. But the Niners just trolled them. thinking, oh, yeah, we're going to get Mac Jones. Oh, we're just meeting up with Justin Fields. Yeah. But then everything was quiet and low-key, but nobody even thought about Trey Lance, you know?
And what's funny about that, it's come full circle because as I look at it, Mac Jones is on the trade block as well. And I can see him in the San Francisco type offense with Kyle Shanahan. But not to slight Sam Darnold, because I always said Sam Darnold just was never in the right system. You look at the Jets, you look at the Panthers, neither of those teams knew how to use him to his strength. This is why he struggled. You put him in a simplified offense like the 49ers with a strong run game and decent weapons, I think Sam Darnold could flourish. But that's still yet to be seen because as we've heard, Brock Purdy is likely going to be the starter. So this is why Trey Lance is probably in trade talks right now. But it's a long way to go, like I said earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely a long way to go because, this is the type of season before draft starts. This is where if it's really legit or not, like I heard about Debo being gone too, and I was kind of worried about maybe the possibility because he wanted a little more money, but then things started to quiet down. So hopefully it's the other way around, but there's been a lot of different reports about these trades. Like potentially Brandon Ayuk can be on the way out too because he might want some money. He could be holding out. I don't know. It's a lot of smoke screams, but
true.
I think low key, man. I think low key there's just not much to report except what they hear about. Like the trades during draft day. These are like the blockbuster moves that you like to see on draft day.
Right.
Like for the Atlanta Falcons, you look at your quarterback situation. You got Taylor Haneke, who's been very solid for the Washington Commanders, and then you have somebody like Desmond Ridder that you were pretty high on at that point. But then you guys move on from Marcus Mariota. How do you feel about the quarterback room for the Falcons?
All right, now I can deal with it, man. They may bring in a veteran when they already have Logan Woodside as your third string, and I'm fine with that because he's played on the Arthur Smith, so that's fine. But what they've done is all season, man, they re-signed Lindstrom and McGarry. The key part to their offensive line, key part to their run game as far as the offensive line. They have a veteran in Jake Matthews, so they're probably going to keep him upright. They have a decent backfield, but as I've said before, if I look at the long-term plan at running back, they have a question mark there. You talk about Avery Williams, who's more of a returner. Caleb Huntley, Achilles injury, he barely made the team last year, but when he played pretty well. CP is getting up in age, 32 years old. So as far as a long-term plan, I still think running back is kind of a question mark going forward. But we'll see how they address that.
So you think that's a glaring need that you think that the team needs to address is going for the running back in the draft?
I don't think it's a glaring need, but as a long-term need, I think it's definitely possible. Because if they get a home run here, that running back to go what they already have, I think it makes them a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, I thought the other running back. Yeah, I thought the other running back, Algier, kind of showed some nice signs as your physical type running back. The guy that you guys drafted from BYU, he was. I think he's like one of your first running backs to crack down 1,000 yards as a rookie for quite some time, right?
Yeah, since William Andrews nearly 40 years ago. So
yeah, it's a long time.
That was pretty amazing, man.
It's got to be amazing company that he made that feat on the rookie record wall. Like the previous years when we had Elijah Mitchell, the guy was a 6th-round pick, and he broke the Niners rookie record. He surpassed quite a few guys that were like 50-plus years ago that had the record. The previous guy who had the record was like 50 damn years ago. I can't even remember who he was, but I had to go deep into it, and, yeah, he surpassed him by maybe about – 50 to 60 yards out of it. But yeah, if Mitchell can stay healthy, man, I don't have a problem with it. But I think there's some possibility we may look to upgrade the position too. Like it seems like every year the Niners just seem to go at the running back, even 3rd round. It's like, why are we going so high for all that stuff? And it just doesn't make any sense. But there's a couple of my fan base. I guess Steve-O says he'll give you Lance for Pitts, man. That would be unfair. Nah. You give us Pitts, bro. That would be scary, bro. But see, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, if we get Kyle Pitts, bro, if we were to get him and you guys get Trey, man, it could be good on both sides, but I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
Now, Kyle Pitts is just the ultimate weapon, man. He'll finally have a quarterback that can get him the football down the field, and that's something that he's needed for a while. Matt Ryan did it for the first year. He got over 1,000 yards as a rookie, as a tight end. But last year, man, the overthrows, the underthrows, and the play that he got injured on actually was an underthrow, and he had to come back for the ball and a safety shot for his knee, and his year is over. So he comes back this year with, to me, a better pocket passing quarterback that could get him to where he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you look at like Kyle Pitts, man, he's only going to get better if you guys give him the ball more. Like, I see how some Atlanta Falcon fans are frustrated because you guys drafted him very high, and some of them are wondering when you guys are going to give him the ball a little bit more. I mean, he's a weapon, but what really got me by surprise was before like the end of the season, you guys traded Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars. That just really caught me by surprise. I don't know how that happened, bro. I thought something was going to work out.
It was just one of those things where it was just time for something new. He had been through a lot off the field here in Atlanta, and I understood after I read about what happened with him, man. And I just think it was best for him and his career to move on. But he goes to a good situation with a young quarterback that has talent and decent receivers around him already. And I think he's going to actually flourish in Jacksonville, man, and feed off of Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, and those guys, Evan Ingram. I think he went to a great spot, man.
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons. They made the playoffs last year. They got a lot of talent. But for the Falcons, I mean, you guys are looking to improve your defense. So I seen your recent signing. You got Bud Dupree. I seen it like I think this week or a week ago.
Yeah, last week. And I think that was a solid signing. You look at Calais Campbell as a solid signing.
Oh, yeah,
finally get Grady Jarrett help on that defensive line. That's what we've been trying to do. You seen his stats drops drastically last year when he had that big guy next to him and Anthony Rush. Now he gets more talent around him. We can see that Pro Bowl Grady Jarrett come back in the best way.
Yeah. So I guess this benefits for you guys if Calvin Ball's out, you guys get a better draft pick out of that compensation or that trade you guys made. So I guess it's like a condition for him if he performs up to the level.
Yeah, it goes up to a second-round pick if he gets re-signed.
So, yeah. I guess you have to move forward for the better. And there's some good draft class for some wide receivers you can get. And then, when I look at this year's draft class, I'm just more obsessed with the tight end class more than most of the other positions. Like, I think it's very talented. I haven't seen this much talent at the tight end position for quite some time. Like, how do you feel about this year's draft class? Like, what position do you feel is like very good that you like so far?
I'm gonna go a little bit against the grain and say cornerback. Okay. This year's cornerback, there are about 45 that I think can be have good NFL careers, and a couple of them could be all pro. We'll see. But cornerback is one position this year that I really love. And I think Atlanta or San Francisco, who both need help at the position, I think they can come up in this draft and find solid starters and depth pieces.
Oh, yeah. Cornerbacks, I see a lot of talent at the position. There's some size, there's some lengthy, there's some guys who could be really good for a while. But I just think that tight end, it's just very, very good. Like, it's hard for me to choose which one I wouldn't be upset about because I don't care which tight end we pick this year, as long as this guy can produce. But I feel like on film, when you watch these guys play, man, it's just they got some starting caliber ability, and we need a number 2 tight end to complement Kittle. But like you said, the cornerback position, bro, it's pretty much an interesting class too, because you get some guys who could be starters from day one or who can develop into quality starters and they can have a long career. Like, there's some good ones. There's some really good ones I like. And which cornerback player that caught your attention that you really like?
I'm gonna go with my co-host, my right hand man Alberto. He's been talking about Christian Gonzalez for about 3 months. And Christian Gonzalez, man, he would probably be that perfect fit in Atlanta. But like I've said before, and I said it been saying in a minute, I think he doesn't make it past Detroit because they're another team that needs a corner on that defense. But Christian Gonzalez would definitely be my pick at number 8 if he falls there.
Man, Christian Gonzalez just seems to be the most interesting name in the draft because the name's pretty similar to mine, but just a little different. That's actually, no slack on it whatsoever, but Christian Gonzalez, it's the same exact name almost as mine, but a little different, spelled differently. But yeah, I just think the name itself is interesting, but he's got the length. He's very good in coverage. So I'm like intrigued by this guy. How come I didn't hear much about him the previous year?
And what's funny, he's compared to the corner we have in Atlanta right now, AJ Terrell, same style player. So you imagine having two of those guys on the field at the same time. That would be crazy.
There's a couple of cornerbacks that caught my attention, but I like this Darius Rush from South Carolina. Like, I think he would be within the Niners' reach in the third round. It wouldn't surprise me if we take a hesitation on this guy. I like his coverage. His style of play is pretty good. Even the other guy who plays on the other side, he's going to be expected to be the high draft, like not high drafted, but he'll be gone way before the Niners are on the clock. But the other guy on the other side is pretty good. Like, I think as far as his length, man, 6'2", very physical in coverage, kind of gives me that Chris Colliver vibe a little bit, but in a good way. Yeah. He seems like that aggressive style. But the one tight end that I really like in this draft class, man, is I know there's a lot of people sleeping on this guy, but the Niners have bet with this guy so many times. Like, I'm thinking Brandon Willis from Oklahoma seems like the kind of guy that would fit our offense, but it wouldn't be surprising if we go for another guy like a Josh Weil, who kind of gives me a little bit of a George Kittle vibe a little bit. I see a little bit of him a little bit, but what other position do you feel the Falcons need to address that you really like on one of those prospects?
I would say left guard, man. The guard position has been an influx for a very long time. And I think if they went there at number 8, I would not be mad because we haven't had a viable guard before last year since Adam Levitri around Super Bowl season 2016. So offensive line, man, a Peter Skoronski, a Broderick Jones, or Paris Johnson. Someone of that nature with size, Mean Street, athletic, someone like that. I think I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's like one of the most unpopular positions, but it does help your quarterback get some time on the pocket and it opens up the lanes a little more. So I think as far as looking at the Falcons, man, there's nowhere to go but up for you guys. I mean, second year with your quarterback, it has to get better because you're adding weapons, and it would be kind of interesting if you guys do draft a wide receiver. Like, do you feel like maybe the Falcons could go that route? Maybe.
I would say probably second, third round. First round, I think they are going to build on their strength. Like I said, left guard, edge rusher. You can never have too much depth at edge. They've came out and said publicly that they're going to add depth at key positions, and I think those are two positions that they must add depth.
Yeah, protecting. I mean, there's some really good receivers in this draft class to consider. I mean, there's a lot of them, but you can get one in the second or third round for sure. Like a first round, the only one I see that stands out is the kid from Ohio State. I heard a lot of film about this kid. I don't know how you say his name, Jackson something.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, yeah.
Yeah, I heard his name. Like, he seems like a really good one. And then the rest of them I look at, there's that USC kid I hear about, Jordan Addison. He's pretty raw. And then
reminds me a lot of Calvin Ridley.
Calvin
same
Ridley?
Type player. Yeah, smooth route runner, great hands, great run out to the catch. Similar build. He reminds me of Calvin Ridley. He would be a nice number 2 for anybody.
Yeah, and then there's this kid, Marvin Mims from Oklahoma, kind of reminds me more of a Tyler Lockett, man. Lockett, damn good slot receiver. I think whoever gets this kid from Oklahoma, they're getting themselves a damn reliable receiver out there.
Agreed.
But there's this one sleeper that nobody's even giving a lot of recognition, man. Charlie Jones from Purdue, man, that boy can catch, and he can – I don't know what is it about this kid from Purdue, but he looks like a baller.
It's funny, man. I did a little research on him. I'm going to probably drop a video later this week. One of my followers asked me to do a video on him, and as I was watching film, I seen a Wes Walker all over again. Great hands, great run out to the catch. always finds holes in his own. If he gets to a team that's quick strike, that gets the ball out very quick in short area, I think he'd be a nice fit for someone.
Yeah. Like you just said, it's another Wes Welker potentially, but a lot quicker. But that shiftiness, man, that's something you can't coach. And there's some guys under the radar. That there's even that one tight end from Purdue. Like nobody's even talking about him either. And this guy can block and catch the ball. See, I wouldn't be upset about this pick. If it came down to him being drafted, I'd be okay with it because at least you have a number 2 tight end who can step in and play pretty well. Like I just think the ones we got behind Kittle, I don't really feel confident with those guys.
Yeah, and with this just complete the total draft to me, I think I only see about a handful of superstars. But this is a great draft to add depth at all positions, no matter what position it is. So I think overall that's a win for any team. If they can just find depth to fill their roster, I think it's a win for everybody, man.
I think it's pretty much a win for the Niners because there's not really much of needs that everybody's talking about. I think we just filled those depth charts, I think everybody's talking about safety, but I don't think it's much of a need until next year. And I think we'll draft one by this year. So we'll either get one this year and develop them. The right tackle, I think it's only a need if we need to push the competition with McKivitz. I think that's the only need I feel that we need to address is the right tackle. I think other than that, edge rusher, maybe nice quality depth, some defensive line depth would be nice.
Right.
A number 2 tight end would be great, but I don't think this team has much needs. Like if we were going into this draft with no picks, I feel confident that we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean they already championship built, man. The way Lynch has built this team over the last 5 years, man. He's left no stone unturned. But one position that I think I would worry about, and that's probably safety, like you said. But you can wait. But a guy like Ronnie Hickson from Ohio State, I think fits this team as well. The 49ers I'm talking about. Great downhill run defender, plays well in his own. So I could see him as a fit probably on day 3. So if we talking about just adding depth in someone that fits the system, I think Ron Hickman would be a nice fit.
Yeah, Hickman seems like a good fit because usually these ballers from Ohio State, they usually produce pretty solidly good. So, but there's this one safety I really like, but I don't know if we'll probably have to trade up for this guy. But Sidney Brown is that one guy I just like. There's just something about him.
Illinois,
He's that guy, man. But I think everybody kind of doesn't realize he can cover. He can cover, play the single high. He can play the strong safety. There's versatility that Niners really value the most. And I think if we were to make a move on draft day, I would hope that it's that guy. I think right tackle. If we were to move up for a right tackle, I would think Blake Freeland would probably be obvious. Matthew Burgeon, whatever his name, from Syracuse.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got Wanya Morris, who can probably play both, either the right tackle or the other guard spot. There's versatility there that I like about him. But
if y'all could find a way to get to the top of the second or the bottom of the first, I think Anton Harrison would be a good fit for y'all. Talking about one of the best pass protected in this draft, man. Guy that size with the kind of bend he has, the kind of agility he has. It's hard to find. So I think Anton Harrison will be a good fit in San Francisco as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Tony Rice giving me those tight ends I like, bro. Yeah, Sam Laporta, I like this dude. I think he's going to be gone. That's the problem.
That's a name that's rising fast. I think he ends up at the top of the second or top of the second to the middle of the second. His name is, rising all the way to the top, man.
But I think he's moving up draft boards, Tony. I really like him too. Usually Iowa tight ends, bro, they produce ballers, bro. Kittle's a perfect example, but I think when you watch Sam Laporta, there's a carnation of Dallas Clark, the style of play that he plays.
I can see that. Yeah, former coach tight end. Yeah, I can see that.
I can see more of Dallas Clark than George Kittle. The closest to a George Kittle, which I'll probably do a stream party the following week, is Josh Wiles. I see a lot of George Kittle in this game, just based by the way he plays the game and the way they throw the ball to him, bro. That's exactly what George Kittle did in college, and that can translate at the next level.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I do like the kid. It's just how you're gonna want this kid if he's gonna be gone. I think he's already moving up draft boards. There's quite a few prospects who are moving up their draft boards. Like this one defensive lineman that I'm very impressed, which I'm probably gonna have him on my show maybe by this coming week before the draft, is Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. This guy's moving up draft stocks, bro. This dude went from a late round riser to like maybe a third round grade, bro. This guy's a
went from a
beast.
6 to a 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude.
I give you another one right quick, man. Keon White from Georgia Tech. They had him slotted as a third round pick. Now I hear his name at the bottom of the first. So that would be, a sneaky good pick for a team at the bottom of the first, like a Buffalo, who loves to add depth at the position. So Keon White is a name to watch, man, going forward.
I like how the guy has versatility too. I've seen a lot of the films of him, but
yeah.
But just watching Carl Brooks, man, it's just the film just tells me that this guy's got really good talent, but he's just overlooked from a small college. So I think he made a strong case. I mean, I got another guy who can make a strong case that nobody's even paying attention to. And I think once we see how this kid plays, bro, when it's all said and done, I think his draft stock is probably going to slide, but I think whoever drafts this guy, they're getting a tone setter, a guy who's going to knock somebody out. And I just hope it's not Seattle who gets this kid. But I think JL Skinner's from Boise State.
Oh, man. I've been saying that. He's a
Cam Chancellor.
He's listed as a linebacker, but he's a safety all day, man.
He reminds me of Cam Chancellor.
Oh, yeah. He will knock you out, man.
I think despite his draft value, I don't even think it's affecting it whatsoever. I think he'll still be draftable as high. That's just keeping it real. Oh, like let's let it get it be, bro. When we look at other players, bro, I feel like a kicker or two, there's teams that, I think we're just probably going to add one for competition wise, but we got Zane Gonzalez, so we'll see what happens. But I don't think it's too much of a weakness. It's more like we're going to get some depth chart. You look at the Falcons, there's a lot for them to improve on into the draft. So I'm pretty sure there's a good chance you guys have a chance to maybe make a strong push for the playoffs, but we'll wait and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think we have a damn good chance, man. 7-10 last year with a lot of second and third string practice squad players, and we, made it competitive. So when you add veterans to those spots that we need, I think it pushes Atlanta over the top. That's my boy. Let's Get It GA, man. Shout out to him, man. Big supporter of mine. So he has a YouTube channel as well. So y'all go check him out at Let's Get It GA.
So is that his channel name right there too?
Yeah, he's a big 2K game content creator, and he's starting an Atlanta channel as well.
Oh, that's good, man. Shout out to this guy, man. Despite whatever team y'all represent, man, we all can agree on one thing, man. We just love football. We live and die football.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, despite who we interview or having our guests, bro, we always like to look at guys who know their team in general or just have a better understanding of the team. Like when it comes down to the Falcons, bro, I feel like Smitty's the guy, bro. Like this guy knows what he's talking about. Like I get whatever info I need to know. So you feel confident about your quarterback position. Do you feel like you might still draft a quarterback?
Before I answer that, thank you for kind words, man, but I cannot do it without my followers, man. They motivate me. Sometimes give me great topics, great questions, great headlines, and they come in the chat on my show live and give me their thoughts on my topic. So without them, man, I would not be where I'm at. There are other great content creators like my boy Alberto, 95 North, Falcons Talk Show, Uncle Steve's Lounge, Big Low Country Sports, Out of Your Falcon Mind. There's just so many that I can name, man. But they all support me, and I appreciate that. But as far as the quarterback position, I'm pretty confident in it, man, because as I said, when you're putting the right pieces around the quarterback to make him successful, all he has to do is come through when you need him in the clutch, make key plays, key throws during the game. So I'm very confident in Desmond Ridder at this point, man.
You got to give the kid a chance to succeed. Give him the weapons, give him the better supporting cast. The defense should be a lot better than the previous years. Arthur Smith's offense is just exactly how they run in Tennessee. It's just as long as the quarterback can manage the game and do his job, you guys should be okay. A good running game is a good quarterback's best friend, and a reliable tight end needs to be involved in the offense. If you guys could feed Kyle Pitts the ball, it makes this offense a lot more better.
And I tell you what could make this offense over the top. What could take this offense over the top. And I've been talking about this on my channel about a month now. As I'm getting closer to the draft, yes, I know I said offensive line, edge rusher, but I also said running back could use a playmaker. And Bijan Robinson at number 8. A lot of fans don't like that, but as you look at it, like I said, no long-term solution, explosive player. You have Tyler Algier who can beat the defensive sleep with his running style. Then you have a home run hitter in a Bijan Robinson who can make this team more explosive and just take it over the top offensively. That's what Atlanta lacked last year, a lot of explosive plays. So you add a running back like a Bijan Robinson at number 8. I mean, I think that just makes all the sense in the world to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, when you feel as confident about your team, you feel like there's maybe a little bit of stuff you can improve on. But I feel like the Falcons, they just, as long as they keep building that culture, and a lot of the front office plays a factor with how you guys bring your talent. So I think it's promising that the division's pretty wide open. Like, no more Tom Brady, but you get to deal with a Derek Carr. You know, Derek Carr's track record was 1 playoff appearances, hasn't really had success with the Raiders, but sometimes a change of scenery can always be for the better. I mean, that's like Matthew Stafford leaving the Detroit Lions to go to the Rams. I don't know if that's exactly the same. Yeah, I don't know if that's the same situation with Derek Carr, but I think it's a lot better than playing with the Raiders.
If you look at it where he had like weapons wise, this is a damn good spot. And you know, I hate the Saints, I'm not gonna lie. But as I look at what they put around Derek Carr and what he already has, assuming that Alvin Kamara comes back on time, they could be a very dangerous team too. And they're one of the teams that are slept on. And this is why I love that we end up getting their defensive line coach, made him our defensive line coach / defensive coordinator. So I think they will, you know, take a hit in that aspect. But as far as offense, I think they're going to keep running the same type scheme. So they still have the weapons. So, yeah, Derek Carr, he lands in a good spot as well.
Yeah, a lot of weapons. Yeah, you guys took some of their D-line. Like, I think you took one of their D-line. I forget his name.
David Onyemata.
That was an intriguing signing.
And one of their linebackers in Caden Ellis as well. So I think that's going to help us a whole lot.
That takes away their least concerns of your division, because you take some of their players that know the team and you start to build a promising culture.
Yeah, that's the way you build a promising culture. You find players that you've coached before, or find players that fit your system. And then you have to, you know, do a little background on them to see how they might, you know, fit mentally. But that's how you build a winning culture, man. Guys that want to win, guys that have an aggressive attitude. And I seen a lot of it last year as I talked with those second and third string players. A lot of those guys, man, wouldn't even, you know, really been on NFL rosters, but they got their shot. When the lights went on, they performed at their best. So this is why we went 7-10 last year instead of the 2-15 that we were predicted to go.
Yeah, you guys outperformed your expectation, because losing Matt Ryan, to be honest with you, was kind of like you lost a lot more of your offensive guy that you had more dependability on. But now that you guys are at the position where this is a second-year quarterback, you're giving him an opportunity to be your starter, and then you got somebody like Taylor Heineken, who's no stranger at having a lot of starting experience and has a solid winning track record at times. You know, I think that's a capable backup you can probably depend on. But Desmond Ridder, it just really depends on how he plays. I think the Falcons can go as far as how Ridder takes this offense, you know, because
and that's really with any team, man. Sometimes you're only going to go as far as the quarterback takes you, man. Like I said, I think the defense is vastly improved, so that will help carry the team a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's about your quarterback making plays, putting points on the board. So we'll see how it works out, man. But I still love what they put around him, and they're still going to add some more in the draft.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So like, That's just what we hope for. And draft season is just the most exciting part. So I'm pretty sure you're going to have your little draft party, your little reaction,
Oh,
all
I'm
that.
gonna go live draft night. I'm gonna be live the whole night. So if you want to come through and talk, man, feel free.
I'll definitely consider that. I'll see what I can do, bro. But usually my schedule's kind of busy up. But I think day
Okay.
two or day three, I'll do some reaction. I'm only gonna do the reactions on my team. So it's like,
Okay.
since we don't have a first round pick, I'm probably just not gonna even do the day one. I'll probably just watch the draft and just observe and then give you my thoughts about who's available that maybe we can make a move on. But other than that, dude, there's not much content I can put into, like maybe just watch the entire draft at best. But I like to get more of my audience more interested in my reaction of the team drafting instead of just, oh, they got this guy. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, we don't really know which way this draft is gonna go. We had an idea early on, but the last couple of days, man, we've been hearing Will Anderson at number 2, CJ Stroud sliding down. So after Bryce Young at number 1, who we really still don't know if that's gonna happen or not, it's a crapshoot after that. So
Yeah.
that number 2 will determine which way this draft will slide.
Absolutely. I think what could be a domino effect is if the Panthers were to pick the other quarterback. You know how sometimes these quarterbacks were rated very high and they just slide. Like it is a domino effect. Like if Bryce Young is exactly what everybody expects him to be, the number 1 pick, or somehow CJ Stroud just slides a little bit here and there, I think the only knack on CJ Stroud is some people are just questioning the Ohio State quarterbacks. But I think if he comes in a better situation, he could succeed. But I think that would probably be the only downside on CJ Stroud is the Ohio State quarterback. But I think he's a lot better than what I've seen on film. Like, I think he's exactly more kind of seems more like a quarterback you could develop and become your starter at that point. I don't think he needs to be – I mean, he could be a starter, right? Don't you think he can be a starter, or you think he'd be better just learning for one more year and then start?
I think he'd be pretty good right off hand, man. The only quarterback that I have said that probably needs time to grow is Anthony Richardson. All the physical tools, strong arm. But when you look at it, man, no real experience in college, sort of like Mr. Trubisky with the Bears back in the day. Anthony Richardson would be the only question mark I would have at quarterback with starting experience. Other than that, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, all those guys, man, I think they can come in and start right away.
Yeah, I guess you get your typical Trey Lance and your Mahomes at the time. They looked at them as projects, and now they're – but we have to wait and see how it pans out with Trey Lance. Let's see if the trades are true, but I just don't see it happening. I just – when I look at the Niners sources and all this stuff, it's hard for us to, like, leak information. Before Shanahan and Lynch were there was a lot of reports where we leaked a lot of stuff, but under this regime, we don't even say much about it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
As far as San Francisco, man, I think they're in prime position, man, to make a key move. And if they trade Trey Lance, man, they'll get good return for him. So they could get, a second round pick and a 5th, like I said. That second round pick could be talent that they've needed. And they could, if Hendon Hooker is there in the second round, I could see him as a fit in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But but thank you for your time. But tell everybody where they can find your social media platform and tell them where your channel is. And definitely looking forward to the many more to come.
No doubt, man. No doubt, and man. Thank you for having me on, man. It's been too long, man, since we hooked up, man. So we need to make this a little bit more often, man. But y'all can find me on Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Also find me on Smitty Sports Machine on Spotify. What I do is I take my shows, put them, where you can listen to them riding in the car at the gym. But just for your listening pleasure, man. But definitely have a show on draft night, so y'all come through, chop it up with me. And I just like to have fun, man, and just give my crazy thoughts.
Oh, absolutely, man. Go check out his channel. And for all those other Atlanta Falcons fans, man, besides football, man, go check me out. I do a little bit more content on other teams. I did some reports on some of your team's signings and on other stuff. outside of football, I like to just interview some other players, athletes, wrestlers. If you like wrestling too, man, go check it out. But mostly this is a Niners channel, but you guys are more than welcome to come on to the comments and rep your team, man. It's all about the unity is how we look at it.
Agreed. But
all right,
again, man, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And I hopefully talk to you soon, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. Take it easy, bro. And as always, guys, we'll keep you posted and see you on the next episode.